The cemetery's son, born among graves, called to life. There are places where life seems to have no space, where silence reigns and the world passes by without noticing. But it is often in those very places that God plants his greatest miracles. Tonight, you will hear the story of Daniel Carter, a boy who grew up among tombstones, yet became a voice of life, a son of the cemetery, chosen to transform the world with words no one expected from a child like him. If you believe God uses the unlikely, share this story. Like this video and subscribe to the channel, because even from the ground of mourning, hope can rise. Daniel was born in the caretaker's house behind a small cemetery in Appalachia, Kentucky. His mother tended the chapel, his father dug graves. Other children avoided him. To them, he was the boy of the dead, lonely, misunderstood, marked by shadows. But what no one knew was that Daniel heard things others didn't, and he wrote things that felt like they had been whispered straight from heaven. Daniel spent hours sitting under the old oak tree beside the cemetery chapel. He watched funeral after funeral. He whispered little prayers for strangers whose names he barely knew. At 7 years old, he began to write poems, prayers, words of comfort scribbled on scraps of paper. At night, he would slip them between tombstones tucked into cracks of marble left on benches. Families began finding them, messages like hidden treasures. Many thought a local pastor had written them, but no, it was Daniel. One day, an elderly woman found a note. It read, "Heaven feels your longing, but it also carries your pain." She pressed it to her chest, weeping. Later, she said it felt as though her late son himself had spoken to her. When asked about it, Daniel simply shrugged. "I just write what I feel inside, as if God breathes it into me." One afternoon, a local pastor visited his wife's grave. There, tucked against the stone, he discovered one of Daniel's notes. Its words pierced his heart. He asked around until he found the boy. Shocked at such depth from someone so young, the pastor invited Daniel to speak at his small church. Daniel stood shyly before the congregation, clutching a piece of paper. He read only a few sentences, but by the end, the entire church was in tears. By age 12, Daniel began visiting hospitals and nursing homes. He carried his notebook, writing verses and leaving messages of hope. He told his mother one night, "I grew up among those who were leaving, but I want to live for those who still have time." He studied the Bible by himself, marking passages, memorizing promises. Everywhere he went, he carried light into places filled with sorrow. His story spread quickly. Someone filmed one of his poems at a community event. It went viral on Facebook and YouTube. Soon, letters poured in from across the country. "Your words kept me from ending my life. God used you to remind me I'm not alone. You speak what my heart needed to hear." Daniel, the boy once mocked for being the son of the cemetery, had become a voice of healing for thousands. Even as recognition grew, Daniel never forgot where it all began. Every month, he returned to that same cemetery. He would sit beneath the oak tree, listening to the wind through the leaves. He still left notes, but now they carried scripture, promises, prayers. The cemetery was no longer a place of fear. It became a place of healing. Families came not only to mourn, but to find peace. Today, Daniel is known nationwide as the boy who heard God among the graves. He has published books, leads grief support groups, and runs projects for young people facing loss. He still writes messages for grieving families, still believes his mission was born in those silent fields. And he often says, "God planted me among tombs, not to die there, but to bloom." Maybe you feel surrounded by loss. Maybe your life seems marked by grief, loneliness, or silence. But hear this, God can make your valley a garden, your silence a song, your pain a ministry. What the world sees as death, God can turn into life. If this story touched you, share it with someone walking through grief. Like this video and write in the comments, even in loss, I will bloom. And subscribe to the channel, because the places of death hold no power over those who carry the life of God within them.